Welcome back, brothers, to the 801st Legion podcast, a Star Wars Legion podcast for you, the community. We have some cool things to talk about, some Rebel love coming your way, some cool things for the Clone Wars, and overall, just a lot to talk about. So without further ado, Kyle, punch it.
Hello there.
You must unlearn
Dark
what you
side
have
of the
learned.
Force is a pathway to many abilities.
Red,
Some
green, or
considered
red, green, red.
I know.
Gosh, will do!
Sorry about the mess.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
General Kenobi.
Let's rearrange some architectures.
Is it possible to learn this power?
I thank you for your hospitality.
Twice the pride, double the fall.
Impressive. I'll show you the dark side.
All right, here we go, guys. Welcome back, Kyle. It's been a while. It's been like, what, 2 weeks?
We had 2 weeks. 2 weeks indeed. It is good to be back. Very exciting to be back, actually. A lot to talk about, as always. This game just is the gift. It's the giving tree. It just keeps on giving.
I feel like that's our intro. Hey, guys, lots to talk about.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the 801st podcast where there's lots to talk about. That'll just be our slogan. There's lots to talk about.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about.
We always think of these charts, but we never bring them to fruition. We have Sudoku. You love to see it. We just need to actually commit to one of these shirts one day.
We got to do it. I think it'd be so fun to make like just one.
Just one.
At least one.
I mean, they actually have something like that on the agenda, so we'll come back to it. But yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, why didn't you guys have a podcast last week?
I was missing your lovely voices. Or unlovely.
Unlovely.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys aren't a part of the Discord or aren't a part of the Facebook page or anything of that nature, you may have been wondering, hey, what the heck? Where was your episode last week? We recorded it. We got it all done. I went home to edit it. And truth be told, we weren't happy with it. And we want to be honest with you guys about that because we strive for excellence. We want to make sure it's an entertaining and well thought out podcast. Our main focus of the episode last week was going to be the new units, like the B2s, the Phase 2s, the tank. And we really just didn't feel like we had enough experience with those units yet. And so our discussion just wasn't as good as it could have been. So we were like, hey, let's just take a week. We'll come back to it with a more fresh mindset, with more experience under our belts, and we'll go at it.
And it also helped that, like, on top of all that, it was a busy week, so we just finding the time and getting to recording was not the best. But truth be told, we feel so much better about it. We're ready to talk about it with you guys. We've played a lot of games. We've painted our minis. They're looking good. If you guys haven't seen the pictures on the Discord, my gosh, like I always think I paint good minis, and then I look at like what John on the Discord has done.
Yeah.
Or like Casey who ordered them from a professional painter. Like
who bought his way into fandom. But that's fine.
Right?
Everything's fine. How are you?
Poor.
Poor indeed.
Yeah, not able to do that. But like great stuff. Like we feel a lot better about it. I think in the future moving forward, we're going to strive our 100% best to do still weekly casts.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Like that's not going to be a common thing.
Right. And that way like we're reliable in that sense. It's weekly. That's our goal, right?
If we had that keyword stapled to us, reliable one.
Reliable one.
Until we don't.
Yeah. You love to see it.
You hate to see it.
Until you don't.
Right?
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, so this also brings up the Clone Wars cast. We've talked about it before. We had a long explanation last week of why we weren't doing it, even though we said we would be doing it. We just feel like there's a focus that needs to be honed in. We want to focus on Legion just for now. If the situation ever arises where we have more free time on the weekends, we're both working on the weekends this month. And so it's really hard for both of us to like watch an episode on Friday and then record sometime during the weekend when we both work.
Especially when we release the episode.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so we ought to edit and release Friday. Like,
yeah.
But
it doesn't always add up.
Yeah. But that being said, if there is big Star Wars news we feel we want to cover, we might.
Yeah.
But we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
We will keep you posted.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? Like, maybe, like I said, down the road when our schedules clear up a bit, we can totally reconsider that. But one of those things, we want to focus in on an excellent podcast for you guys, and that's our goal.
I guess with that, I do have a question for you. So far with the Clone Wars, 1 to 10, how has it been so far for you?
Oh, man. this is a lot of pressure. Because I'll be honest, the last episode was like my least favorite.
Agreed.
But it also was really good and like important for the story they're trying to tell. So I was okay with it because it moved things along. But I feel like it didn't move things along until like the last 5 minutes.
It definitely felt like a second half of episode 2, if that makes sense.
Well, it was also 20 minutes as opposed to like 26 minutes before. So we lost like a third of the episode length, which you could really tell on the pacing, which that's just getting into the nitty gritty of it. Right. But like overall, like it was a shorter episode, and I think that's my biggest complaint of it.
I agree. I think so far for me, this season has been like an 8.5.
Oh yeah,
out of 10, which is great. That's a good season. I'm really enjoying it. The character development. So I don't know if you guys have seen on the Discord. I just painted up Rex. He's looking.
Yeah.
I made him look way dirty. My phase ones are all bright, sparkling, brand new, and Rex is all dirty. And I did that because it's super interesting that he is like such a dirty boy in that season.
He's a very dirty boy.
He's a dirty boy.
Oh my gosh.
He probably smells so bad. He's been wearing that bodysuit for years now.
Oh, I don't want to think about it. What do you think clone body odor smells like? Is it the same as humans, or do you think there's like something with their DNA that
the Kaminoans were like, oh man, this guy stinks. They like genetically like modify him to smell like roses all the time.
Or maybe like because they live on a sea planet, their sweat smells like sea salt.
So they like naturally smell good. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
Or bad if sea salt's garbage in that area, I guess.
Hopefully it's not like
fish pee.
Yeah. Smells like fish.
But yeah, overall, like the season has been really good. It's also really irritating though. It's like, okay, I like the Bad Batch. I love seeing Anakin and Rex going at it, but I like who among us is not just like, all right, give us Ahsoka and Maul already. Just bring us that arc already.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how excited I am for that. Like I really couldn't put into words how excited.
That's like why they made season 7. I feel like to really just tell the final story of the Jedi we know and love. I mean, yeah, the Bad Batch was like already planned and all that, but
and
like
experiencing like Order 66 from their perspective, which is, let's be real, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Good soldiers follow orders.
Don't R.I.P. dude.
R.I.P. everyone.
But yeah, overall, very good season. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, so I can't remember if I told you this already though, Matt. Then I think the viewers at home will appreciate this. I had a conversation with one of my friends the other day about this, and I was like, yeah, I think Rex has the opportunity to be like have that moment where he has to make the decision, like, oh, my brain is telling me to kill my Jedi, but I don't want to because I care for my Jedi. And like in on Rebels, spoiler alert, he doesn't kill his Jedi.
Right?
Like he says that. And just with this whole Echo thing about him coming back, my friend I was talking to was like, "Oh man, I really hope Echo lives, and I hope Rex doesn't turn on Ahsoka." It's like, guys, you have to realize.
I have a theory
that
I want to bring up, but I want to see if you're gonna cross into it. So keep going.
Well, I was just saying, I was like, Order 66 happens in like a month. No one is going to be okay. Everyone is going to be very much not okay. I don't think we have to worry about if they're going to live or not, because either way, they're not okay.
They're not okay. Like, if you want to know what happens, spoiler alert, episode 3 came out in like 2005 or so. You can watch it.
Spoiler alert, Anakin is Darth Vader. Oh, crap. Sorry, my bad.
What the heck, bro?
Does he have a son named Luke? Because I think that's the main character of the 4th movie.
No. Have you read the Thrawn trilogy books?
Not the originals. No.
Okay, because there's like a clone of Luke, and his name is Luke.
Oh yeah, I do know this.
L-U-apostrophe-U-K-E.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Luke, and they fight.
Luke, come get your blue milk.
I don't want blue milk, Emperor.
I want to go to the Ta'ashi station and pick up some power converters.
He's got like a lisp. A stutter.
We're just making him more defective clone. He's like Uncle Owen.
Oh my god, Luke. It's funny. It's super funny. But yeah, like, okay, so here's my theory.
Okay, theory time.
This is what I was thinking.
time, but theory time.
Because I watched a lot of the story reels from before. Actually, in fact, I didn't know the story reels were released. And so, like, I was on a Sunday drive, came back, had dinner with the family, and that night I was like, well, I got a couple hours to myself.
Face. I'm an orphan.
If Kyle's mom and dad are listening, he's joking. But anyways, I watched the story reels, and some of the episodes have been a little different. Mm-hmm. This last episode, ended with Echo saying something a little more ominous.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if with the whole them messing around with his brain, he no longer has his inhibitor chip. And he knows about it, and I wonder if he's like, hey, Rex, like, I know this is coming. I need you to know about this because nobody else will believe me because I've been tied to the Separatist system. I know because I've seen the communications with Dooku. I know this exists. I know Fives was onto it, and it's real, but nobody believes me. So I wonder if he, like, lets Rex in on it.
Yeah.
And Rex is like the only one to get taken care of. But I don't know.
See, I think it's going the completely opposite way.
You think he's going to trigger
Tambor straight up said his mind belongs to me now.
Oh, you think he's going to...
So I think he's going to be, like subconsciously he's going to be a spy. I'm just saying.
I hope not, but
the frog has his ways of communicating through mind tricks.
We've got Yoda Frog and
we got what would you like? Wat Tambor, large frog, or diet frog Yoda?
Right.
What is your favorite?
We'll find out.
But yeah, so anyways, moving on from the Clone Wars. Sorry if that was dragging on a little bit for you guys, but we really love that show and we wanted to share it with you, even if we aren't able to do a cast for you. But overall, like we just want to reassure you guys, like the future is bright for this podcast. We have new ideas every single day, and we're always Matt and I are always texting like, oh, what if we did this? What can we do this in the next podcast? Like here's an idea.
Right, not even just us. We're having people from the Discord message us all the time, like, hey guys, what about this? We should do that. We should have this happen. Great ideas. One of them we've been bringing up is possible product creation, not as in like a store, but as in like we want to make something 801st related. Get some numbers out there. And if you guys want some of the product, let us know. We'll put it into an order that's mutual. So, like, order tokens is one of them, where we thought about doing, like, 801st Legion order tokens.
Yeah.
With a full set, maybe even extra one, with the extra ones for the entourages if you want. And something we wanted to get an idea for numbers about. So if you're interested, let us know.
Yeah.
We want to start getting a feel for, like, how many people would be interested in it. On the Discord, we're talking about what we want on there, things like that.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things that's like, in order for this, like we've said it from the beginning, like this podcast isn't out here to make money. If anything we do make a profit-wise, it's just so that we can get more stuff on for the community, really. Like whether it's terrain for the community tournaments or just to get you guys some awesome stuff that, like, hey, I'm part of this community. Like if order tokens, for example, like, that would be really cool to see. So just know that whatever we do, we're not going to be like charging like $50 for a set. Yeah. So we do want to hear you guys sound off in the comments. Like, what would you prefer? What would you rather have? Order tokens, bags for order tokens? Would you like a T-shirt, a dice box?
Maybe a custom terrain piece.
Custom terrain piece. Yeah. Cool. Like if you followed us at all, you know that. We made those Mandalorian statues for our tournament here in Salt Lake. We could do something like that. It's all up to you guys and what you guys want. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. We'll move on. But
that's input we still need.
Yeah. We just want to throw that out to you guys, even if it's going out to the void. At least we know it's out there. So one of you guys hopefully will get back to us on that.
It's floating.
But moving on, Matt, we indeed do need to talk about our games of the week.
The games of the week. Games of the week. Right.
When you said it like that, it's like the games of the week. I'm playing the games of the strong.
And I am the game of the week. But
So yeah, we had a lot of games this week, and because we didn't record last week, we have even more games that we could talk about.
So many more games.
So I think, I know Matt and I talked about what we're going to do here for these games is we're just going to condense them into units, because I feel like that's what you really want to know. We just got those B2 battle droids. We just got those Phase 2 clones. We got the Saber class tank. You probably don't really care about the games at this point as much as you just want to know how those units performed in those games. So let's just go right into it. B2s, Matt, how do you like those B2 metallic boys?
Oh, those metal boys.
Those metal boys.
I'll just say this one thing. If you don't want to play B2s and you're a Separatist player, you're sleeping on probably one of my favorite units in the entire
strong
faction.
Words.
I do think for me it's still Dooku, Grievous, B2s.
Okay.
Droidekas at the bottom. I like Droidekas, but I don't know where to put them, and I feel like they're just filler. They're kind of like speeder bikes for me. Good, but just filler till something better comes. which is another thing because triple speeder bike this week was good. But
I
side
always,
note,
and that kind of makes sense. Like, it's kind of in line with the movies too. It's like when you first see destroyers, you're like, oh my gosh, they're wheelie boys that have shields. And then like as the movies go on and the Clone Wars goes on, you're like, those guys are like the weakest, like garbage.
they get taken out a lot. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like we've seen some lists where it's like 2 or 3 of them, and it's like, holy crap, what do you do with that?
And it's oppressive. It's crazy. But yeah, long story short, the B2s. Looking at their card and their kit right off the bat, I was like, man, why do I want to pay so many points for these guys when I can just take B1s? Well, I'll tell you why. First of all, there's not many things you can fit in the lists.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
variety's sake, check.
So check variety's sake. What I ended up doing was plugging them into my double the fall list. So same as I've been running in other casts, Dooku, Grievous, but instead I ran 2 B2s, one with the Ha, one with the other gun. The ha with cycle. And then I ran them in like a telephone line thing. So the B2s up front, naked B1s right behind them, and then just behind them a set of HQ uplink B1s. So the back B1s, all they did was like maybe shoot and recover, or move and recover, or dodge and cover, just something. So every turn that they needed to, they HQ uplinking, which was great because then you have these telephone lines where they would pass the order. Like it would be one B1 to another B1 to B2. Then the same thing. Perfect activation control every time. And that was really crucial. And I tell you, man, I want to highlight this with one of the games where there was a speeder bike that was there, and it was in cover, and the B2 with the Ha, this is my like first roll with their dice, and I tapped the Ha, and you saw this, and I grabbed the dice pool, and I threw the dice pool, and it was all
it was a ha-ha moment.
It was a ha-ha moment, and it just aced the speeder bikes right off the table. And suddenly I stood back, and I was like, holy crap. Like,
the boys are back in town.
They're back in town. Like, they hit so hard. They can hit really hard. And Blast, my gosh, it does cycle, so you have to recover and use it, which I did end up doing quite a bit, recovering and using it again, or just waiting for it to cycle.
Right.
But my gosh, if I can see one guy, like if I can just get enough to take you out of cover, or if you're behind a barricade, suddenly you're getting no cover, changes the game. It also is nice to have another threat that just Dooku and Grievous needed something else to take the focus off them. And so now it's like, crap, I got to shoot these guys, but they've got armor 1, and if they're in heavy cover, it's basically cover 3.
Yeah.
There was some cool things.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, that whole shift in focus too, because like I've toyed around with making separatist lists, even though I have like droids, but they're still on sprues.
Let's be real, we play around with all the lists.
Yeah, we play around with them all the time. But the one thing I keep coming back to is this idea of just like this heavy armored core unit just repeated, right? So like instead of B1s, maybe you do take B2s. I don't know if that would ever work, but it'd be really interesting to be like, hey, like, yeah, I attack, but my attack is really good, that it's better than naked B1s. Also, even with the cycle attack, let's be real, like, you're going to have to push up anyway. So, like, maybe that does help you, like, all right, so I won't aim and shoot. I'll just move and shoot, or shoot and move if you have to AI attack in that case.
And well, what's nice if you need to do that too, it's still that gun I believe is range 3.
Yeah.
So if you need to, you can just throw 2 dice at range 3 and then walk up if you need to. So take your range 3 shot, move into range 2 for next turn.
And then everyone can use their main blaster.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, which I really like. This is a long. This is like. Oh, just hear me out. I would love a mechanical piece in this. I don't know how they do it. Are
you talking like a Medroid for them?
Well, no, like you know how like when they're firing, you guys at home can't see my hand gestures, but like when they stick out their arm for their blaster, it just stays stationary, but their forearm is like this pump action.
Oh,
I would love like a little toy of that, like for this, like a little toy mechanical piece that you could put on a base in Legion. So, like, all right, I'm going to fire. They're firing. And while you're rolling, the little animated, like, little mechanism is going like this. That would be way too complicated, but I think it'd just be funny. Like, someone's going to do it.
You've seen people turn, like, Kenobi's lightsaber into LEDs.
Right.
Somebody's going to do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and if you guys have the capabilities of doing this, I will pay you to do it to my B2s. Oh. I will pay you.
Right. Casey will pay you. No, love you, Casey.
Casey owns a Tesla. He can afford anything.
We're joking. But for real, like, dude, also B2s, I can't tell you how easy they were to paint up. Mm-hmm. A lead belcher, and then I had to, like, so I just darkened my lead. Literally, it was lead belcher that I just darkened, went over light and then went over with a highlight and washed it all down, it looks just like it's out of the movies. They look incredible. They play incredible.
Matt, here's the thing. Matt's being super
fun.
modest here.
Oh,
you have to see them in
stop.
person. They are completely just stunning to look at.
Oh.
They're beautiful. They're movie accurate. The dot even has like this little like highlight for the lighting. It's just super good. Like the red dot on their chest. Yeah.
You flatter me, but
Well, good.
no.
Consider yourself flattered.
keep stroking my ego. That's okay.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll just do it again later. I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
I'm just gonna roll with it.
Like, let's move on. No, but
Innuendos? No, not quite. It doesn't even make any sense.
right. I will say this for the B2s. I played them against Palpatine. I played them against an Empire shortlist with Casey, and I did end up winning. I didn't lose any games with the B2, so let's put it that way. Even against other droids and stuff, there were some close times, but just that whole being able to take focus off of Dooku and Grievous just a little bit was great. The fact that you can't take armor hits now or impact hits does suck.
Yeah.
But usually it's impact 1 or 2, and having 10 health, like I recommend running them fully kitted because that's 10 health.
Yeah.
10 health is hard to chew through. Like that's more than any hero. It's more than tanks.
Well, and it's super interesting the way we look at it right now. It's like, yeah, it sucks for impact, but also like the way they're releasing stuff now, I feel like it's a seesaw. Like, oh, this release like pretty equivalent, but oh, maybe the clones have a little bit of an edge on this equivalent.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we look at the next wave of releases. Oh, it's the same, but oh, droid commandos are a little bit better than the ARC troopers, depending on how you look at it, right? But I feel like that's a really good way to balance the game. Like, okay, last time this faction was a little bit stronger, so this time we're gonna try and make this one just a little bit stronger.
Right, and I feel like local meta is super important with that too, because like, so this past week, for example, so the past couple weeks at game nights, we've had 10 plus people.
Oh, man, it's been a blast.
It's been a blast. But also, do you know how many of those people played clones and tanks?
Oh, yeah.
Last night especially, I think it was like out of 11 people playing it. How many? Because you played a clone with a tank, I played with a tank, Kurt played with clones. He didn't have tanks.
I think 1 in 3 people out of
it was like half. It was more than
I think I take it back.
Every table.
I think every table had a tank or another heavy because they just wanted to go against heavies.
Dude, it was wild. So there was a lot of impact, but with the tank, I think we'll get to the tank later. I think it's good, but I think we'll see people not bring him so much in the future. I don't know. That's a discussion for later. But
yeah, I mean, we are literally about to talk about the tank, so we might as well.
Should we just pop into it?
Yeah, let's just pop into the tank.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
I like it.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay.
I'm glad we got that.
Right.
It's a good one. We got a spicy meatball.
That's a spicy boy right there.
Okay, let me tell you guys how I feel about the tank.
Kyle, take it away.
The first game I played with it, I lost, and I'm like, dang. I would have loved to just instead use those points for Kenobi because I had like a 9 activation list. I had Rex, the tank, and some clones, and I was trying out the phase 2s for the first time. And I was like, oh man, I would have really clutched out that win because I lost by 1 unit having the objective control on intercept. It was a tie in the middle, and if I had gotten 1 more unit instead of the tank, I would have gotten.
If it was Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it was Kenobi instead of the tank, I would have won. And then so later that week, I played another game, same list, but I was like, okay, I'm going to take the tank out and put Kenobi in. And kind of same, like they're both sabers, right? they're both saber boys. Yeah. And in that game, I lost again. I lost twice in a week, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing wrong? I felt really low for a little bit. I was like, dang, because if I was looking back at that second loss, and I was like, oh, I wish I had the tank because the tank would have actually helped me a lot. And then I had this brilliant idea, Matt. Just get them both. get both Kenobi and the tank.
Just better than 1 saber?
2 sabers.
2 sabers.
And I'll tell you, I like it a lot.
It's good.
I like it.
Oh
I like it a lot because here,
it's good.
Everyone wants to ignore the tank, right? Everyone why? Like if I could just avoid the tank, I get behind line of sight, I'm good. But you know who really can throw a wrench in that? Kenobi and Force Push.
Yeah.
And you know who can just wait patiently with a standby token? The tank. Hover ground allows them to take a standby token.
Take standby tokens now.
So maybe you pull the token a little bit earlier than you're hoping for the tank. Nobody's in line of sight. Just aim and standby. Because when Kenobi comes in, oh, hey, here's some breakfast, tank.
Push it into line of sight.
Yeah, and it's so sexy, dude. I can't tell you how good it feels to be like, yeah, so your guys are going to die. Okay, now I've done my first move. Okay, now I'm going to jump into these guys. Oh, the tank got that guy. Okay, now I'm going to go get this guy.
And then you charge them. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
So it's like I'm deleting 2 units, hopefully, with 2 sabers. So, like, that's the thing. It's an uphill battle the first couple activations because you're so out-activated. But if you can hold on, like Spider-Man 2, hold on. Don't you know what that?
I know what
Yeah,
you're
I love
talking
that song.
about. I know
Yellow
you're-
card, baby.
Dude, don't even get me started on them. Love them.
I love that movie. Anyways, so if you could hold on and just grit through that first like 2, maybe even 3 activations, and you just like you can completely flip the game over on its head. I honestly feel like 8 activations, because that was an 8 activation list. I had Kenobi, Rex, R2, 2 bare bones phase 1s, and then 2 phase 2 clones with the mortar, and then the tank. So 8 activations, which with R2 was like kind of 7.
If we're being
But
real.
R2 just got an objective and he ran and he did great. He got me, secured me a point in one of the games. But what I'm saying is that like, though, if you just play it right with the clones, you're turning 8 activations into practically 9 with Arsenal, with standbys.
Right, and I want to bring this up too, because I think you said it perfectly when we were talking about the tank last night. Is what it does is it makes the clones kind of like a double the fall list.
Kind of, yeah.
And talk about that idea with that, because that was something I thought was interesting. And
Well,
that
right.
was
So
your
like,
idea.
the big thing with Double the Fall that I've always hate playing against is that there's 2 huge threats on the table, and even if I'm like going after them up until the point I can get them, like say Kenobi and Rex are going after Grievous and Dooku. Let's be honest, Rex is not as equal of a threat at all.
No, and let's be real, Dooku and Grievous against Kenobi, like that's not even it's
Right.
it's a cakewalk for them.
Right. So like the idea is like, okay, why don't I get that like 2 sabers? You know, like why don't I get that second threat? Because Double the Fall is only 8 activations.
Well, and it's about the same amount of points.
Right. It's about the same amount of points. And so, hey, look at that. Like, I have 2 and like, let's be real. Like I said, Rex isn't like a huge threat, but man, when he pops off with his command cards, he is, right? So if you can get it to the point where he can have the situation under control, where he's not going to get shot at to, fire support, all that great stuff that his command cards do, then he's a huge threat. But early game, Kenobi and the tank do like a lot of heavy lifting.
That's true. There's so much about the tank that I do enjoy about that too. Like 9 health, armor. That ends up being quite a bit.
Well, and
the base is just huge.
Well, and honestly, like for a not with an experienced player, and I've already noticed this, and I don't even want to say with a less experienced player, I'll say it with a player that could get distracted by the tank. You're shooting a tank. Okay, I have armor. Like the tank got shot at, I believe, twice my last game I played with it. No hits at all. Like I think actually the Bark that I played against did get a hit through. Actually, now that I think about it. But overall, like, you scratched it. Meanwhile, you just burnt like 2 activations, and so now we're on equal playing ground again. So it's a really good distraction.
It is, and it's interesting because I want to bring this up with like what I played last night. I played a clone list where it was Rex the tank, 4 phase 1s, 2 phase 2s, 8 activations, and I went up against a triple speeder bike list for the Empire with shores, mortars. All of the banana stuff. It was 12 activations. Ooh. So I was out activated by 4, and I had to make a decision really quickly. What am I going to do? So I ended up making the tank for the speeder bikes. Because the speeder bikes have impact, and with how big the tank is, those side arcs, they're going to get you in the side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're just going to. So I made this thing where I took the tank, and I blocked my army with the tank. So the speeder bikes had to go through it. Did that mean that the speeder bikes ate that tank for breakfast? It was dead by round 2? Yes, but that meant that suddenly I could turn and support fire, fire support, and just wipe the bikes, and that was huge. It took me from being down by 4 activations to being down 1, and then a lucky shot from some more boys. So it was, the tank was definitely a distraction, and that helped a lot. There's just so much about the tank to talk about.
I straight up say I think it's the best heavy unit in the game right now.
Agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Like, I think that ATST is awesome for its health. I think it has Arsenal, because as Arsenal 4, it's a huge deal. But it still has white saves. Even though it's just a defense, got to give credit there.
Well, it's just like the tank, dude. Like, I rolled 8 crits out of 9 dice on one roll. Like, against an ATST, man, you search the defense, but I would guarantee you that's probably more than half your health gone in one attack.
This is the thing too. The tank is, the reason I keep saying it's another saber because it's its name.
It's the name, yeah.
But also too, it's literally the same dice pool as Kenobi's lightsaber at range 4. So you're sniping with that thing, and that's crazy. Does refresh my memory? I don't think the ATST has a range 4 weapon besides the mortar.
It's weird because if you do it right, you can technically get. I think it's got one gun that's 1 to 3, one that's 1 to 4, one that's like 4 and beyond, and then one that's like 1 to 2. So if you do your arsenals right, you can get 2 weapons at a single person, but like your main plus something you got attached. But it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Well, I guess what I'm saying though is just that so for example, going back to the side arcs, you're getting impact. And I know for you it was really difficult because you're also going up against 6 total minis for speeder bikes.
Plus with impact with it, that's impact 3 plus natural crits.
For example though, like if I'm getting shot up by like a regular unit that doesn't have impact and they get impact from my side arc, okay, you got 1 crit through, great.
And you can still block it.
I roll a red save. I'm good. That I think the red save alone. Now we've talked about this before too, but the AAT is soon coming too. I think it's going to give a run for its money. Like just straight up. Like I think we're about to see a new dawn with the heavy units.
It is interesting because I think the AAT will be. We talked about this. I think that Saber will be your anti-infantry one because it's just a lot of dice you're throwing. The AAT, rather than focusing on its guns, though, I think it's going to be your ordnance carrier. I guess it's a discussion. Do you want to have that talk? Like, who's the better pilot and who's the better gun to take on your tank?
That's a good question. So first of all, let's tackle gun because I think that's what people want to know the most.
Yeah.
So the big question is ordnance-wise, you're gonna have a couple different ordinances you can choose from, and that's just all about your list. I don't think ordinances matter as much as what you're contributing to your army. But the hard point between the beam and the twin laser turret, I think, is going to be the hotly debated one.
What was your take, I guess?
I love having critical too. Just with let's see, 9 dice, I'm bound to get 2 critical or two surge results. Turning those straight into crits, super nice.
So you're a twin laser fan?
I think I am. I will tell you what though, range 4 with the beam and beyond, with how it does its little thing. That's pretty nice too. I want to give it another try, but the problem is I wouldn't be able to fit with my list. I'm at 798 with my list right now. I wouldn't be able to fit the beam cannon in. I can't even fit a pilot in there. It's just the tank.
It's expensive, yeah.
So I don't think you're I guess that goes back to something we've talked about in the past too. Are you getting your points back with that points you're spending?
Yeah.
That's 15 points? What other kind of upgrade takes 15 points? We're talking 3PO. We're talking force push with tenacity practically. That those things on Kenobi are super helpful. Granted, I didn't give those. I gave up tenacity on Kenobi, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, that's a pilot.
Exactly. It's what are you giving up to get those extra 15 points? You just have to make sure it's worth it for your list. But overall, I think Critical 2 is going to be more impactful, no pun intended, more impactful than 2 red dice that don't surge.
See, I have to agree with you because I think just seeing how many heavies there have been the past couple of weeks since the tanks came out, because people want to play something fun. Competitively, I want to say the beam competitively because I saw how great it was last night against trooper heavy units, but when I was playing against other heavies, man, that critical was super helpful because you've got impact already and you roll natural crits. So the one where I got 8 crits against a different one, it was because I shot the weak side, so got impact added. Mm-hmm. I rolled 3 natural crits and I had critical 2. So it ended up being 3 natural crits, impact 2, critical 2 on the surges, 1 went away from range. The other one was a hit, but it went away from armor. It's very devastating to get that kind of roll if you've got a heavy. Yeah, you've got red saves, but red saves, that's 50-50. Statistically, you should take 4 or 5 damage, which is a lot. You use a block.
That's a unit, though. That's a trooper unit.
And especially, it depends on what you're going against. But then the beam weapon last night, I was able to basically kill a sniper's unit from it. Because this sniper was a little close. We were playing intercept, and it was trying to hold down the intercept point. It did some damage. It did a lot of damage to quite a bit of people and threw some suppression. So I think there's a case for both, but the twin laser is also cheaper. So I think just you have to go, do you want to pick people off slowly, or do you want to just ace somebody into the ground with 9 damage? I think for me in the future, I will continue to take the twin laser, but I do like the idea of the beam if I have the points.
Well, let's just be straight up. Like, there are certain factions that it'll be good against.
Rebels don't want the beam.
Yeah, well, droids don't want the beam. Clones,
yeah.
Well,
I guess droids don't really care about the beam because it's like you'll get 2 per, but rebels, if you're able to get half, like 2 is half their unit.
Right, and then that's just a suppression, and they're probably not going to be able to save it. Now, think about it. I guess every faction should be scared because then you think about Empire with gun lines. They're all going to be close to each other.
Well, unless you've got strict orders, which you're probably taking aggressive tactics,
But still, if I can do over half like in an optimal situation, like let's say I'm fighting a mortar I shoot a mortar, 2 red dice. Okay, optimal situation, you blank out both your saves. That mortar only has 1 health left, so what are you gonna do? You're kind of gonna have to worry about that guy like now.
That's true.
That's like the ideal situation. It doesn't always go like that.
That's true. Well, I think it's nice too when like you can arsenal with it. Like I took LTAs on the tank, so and I always issued orders because then the rest are just clones. It helped get aims, so I could aim on everything. And then I'll say this: we'll get to this with the pilots, but I didn't move with the tank very much.
Nope, I didn't either.
In fact,
I sat like right in the middle because I had advanced positions. I put my deployment for the tank was all the way to the left of my deployment zone, and that was facing right at the center objective.
So you're like deployed in the center, facing the center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with rollout, that's only going to be better. Like when that comes out. So
and it makes me wonder, like, why do you take Plo Koon?
Yeah, I don't think Plo Koon is like. I think like if you're planning on forcing things like breakthrough or bombing run or something like that, like, okay, then yeah, you may want to consider Plo Koon for those dodges, but man, it's gonna be hard to kill you. It really is, no matter what. I guess just straight up dodging a crit is gonna be nice, but I don't know. I'll try them one of these days, but like I feel like the veteran clone pilot has its obvious utility, but Ayla Secura. Ayla Secura, boy.
First of all, she's a spicy meatball.
She is one spicy meatball.
Second of all, she's my favorite so far.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because we both thought, like...
Dude, yeah!
Why are they even including her?
We were reading the article, I was like, well, that's dumb. Inspired 2.
Field Commander?
I freaking love that.
Yeah. But now that we're playing with it, it's like, oh yeah, Ayla Secura Inspired 2. Also, I can issue orders from the tank. So it's like nobody is too far gone.
Right? I love it because like you're not going to take strict orders with the clones. You need the aggressive tactics. So where are you getting rid of your suppression? You need her to do that for you. And I can't tell you how nice it was because like you want to issue her orders anyways and you want her to go first kind of. She's the tank. Mm-hmm. You kind of want it to go first a lot of the time. So just have her go first and inspire that away. Or if you're just dying, have her go last or very middle so she can inspire something away before somebody needs to go. Mm-hmm. It's great. I really liked her the best.
Well, I'll tell you what I did do a lot with the tank because with Ayla Secura being just like a really good piece for her to just be in the place to inspire to. It also reminds me like movement wise why you would take or why you probably don't need to care about Plo Koon is because all you're doing is staying in that center point. Your trooper units are moving around you. I
can't tell you how many times I blocked paths from people getting to objectives because my base is so big they had to just go around me.
Yep.
It happened a lot.
Exactly. And also it's like, okay, you're a little bit out of my arc. Okay, I'm just going to pivot a little bit.
Dude, yeah. Like
it's just
and
great.
I'm shooting range 4 anyways, so with how big my arc is, it's basically range 5. It's crazy.
Now hear me out. Just wait until until Republic gets spotter. Then I'm going to be able to aim with that just straight out. Well, maybe you don't even want to.
Just take LTAs and get an issued order.
Yeah, that's true.
Lane's targeting array, yeah.
Yeah, because, that's true. Because, like, there's no real reason to have... That only helps that one unit, because everyone else they don't need electro binoculars or spotter, because they can just...
share their own tokens, yeah.
So I guess that's true. Like, clones have no reason to take that, really.
And speaking of sharing tokens, like, we've talked a lot about the tank, but I kind of also want to get to the
The meat and potatoes?
The meat and potatoes.
The boys.
So these are the guys, I want to preface this. These are the guys that kind of got, ARC Troopers originally, but with Phase 2s, they got me to start playing clones this past couple weeks. And I'll tell you this.
And yet another great paint job, by the way.
Oh, I haven't painted them yet.
But just overall, your clones.
So far, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, Phase 2s,
and let's be... You've started.
I have. I'm like halfway there, so...
Yeah, don't be too modest on me. Don't do that.
Stop stroking my ego.
I told you I'd do it later. Finally, a joke is not wasted.
We've come full circle. The student.
Anyways, Phase 2 clones.
Oh.
Can I just tell you how exciting it is to have a dynamic in the clones that's 2 for the price of 1? You may be asking, oh, what do you mean by that, Kyle? I mean this. Unit A and B scout up to be in position, through Rex's scouting party. That's your mortars, right? Mortar A, mortar B, or maybe even Z6s if you're running Z6s with Phase 2s. You know what's really nice also? Your Phase 1s that are just naked and out of range of anyone shooting them, moving up just to range 1 of them so that they can aim and stand by or dodge and stand by. You know what you're doing at that point? You're getting 4 mortar units for the price of 2.
For suppression.
Because they can share that standby token.
What? Stop.
So you are losing a couple things, right? You're not getting reliable 1-4 times, but you're getting their, like you said, their suppressive attack twice.
Oh my gosh! And there's benefits and there's downsides to
Right.
the mortar, but I think the benefits outweigh the downsides a lot.
Well, yep. And in that early game, if you pop Rex's card right, you're gonna be able to support. You're gonna be able to use all your dice, not just the mortar at range 4. So all your dice can be at range 4. So if somebody's coming up on the objective, you're like, nah, bruh, tank, boom,
Psych.
Mortars, boom.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's a lot of just lot.
There's a lot. And a reliable 1, I can't tell you how much that helps because you're already getting aggressive tactics.
Yeah.
Most of those cards are not issuing to a lot of people, so there aren't a ton of search tokens out there. But there was a round where I played Rex's card where he passed out, 4 order tokens, and then those guys got aggressive tactics. And then the Phase 2s, 2 of them got, reliable 1. And then I rolled. Dude, I'm a fan of using those surges on defense more than offense because then it turns your guys into basically death troopers. You're like, okay, try and kill me. You can't do it.
Yep.
And they've got curts too, so when you've got all that suppression, you're not getting panicked.
Yep. No, it's super nice. And because I can't tell you, there's a couple times where I got pegged with shots after shots, and the last time mini or 2. But it was nice when I had 3 suppression, rolling 2 out of 3, and being good to do 2 activations.
I'd be like, cool, I'll just aim and mortar you back.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's so good. Oh my gosh. And even because you aimed in standby earlier, you have an aim in the backup. So it can only do 1 action. I'm going to shoot and use that aim token.
Right? Oh my gosh. And dude, and I don't know if you saw this with the mortar. I was playing Kurt. He had clones, I had clones. We were both trying it out. And I saw his Phase 2s, and I thought, okay, I was in a position where I just didn't want to get mortar shotted. And I forgot that their mortar is 2 to 4, not 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can get to range 2, they can't shoot me. Well, I got into range 2, shot him, and you know what he did? He turned around and shot me with 6 black dice and suppressive because they can suppress you at range 2. So getting to the outside of that threat range is just so much more difficult because you can't move in. You have to stay out, or you just have to bum rush the entire way up.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I love how you said it earlier. They're not safe of any risks involved. Because let's be real, if you have 2 naked clone units in the back, if your Phase 2s get killed,
they're just chilling.
You don't have a whole lot of backup. That's kind of your thing. It's gone. And so I got pegged by that on another game this week where my Phase 2s went by and it was harsh. It was really harsh. But I feel like the more I play with them, the more comfortable I am with them and getting them into position right. And this is another thing we talked about this week is just sticking with a list long enough to where you can find out and just iron out the kinks in a way. You can okay, that's a problem that I need to figure out. That was something with deployment. Because the first couple times I played with the Phase 2s, I just didn't deploy them right. The first time I played the tank, I didn't deploy it right. How do you deploy that huge basketball-sized base?
It almost doesn't fit in deployment zones.
It's barely, yeah. And so, after 2 games, I was like, okay, I got an idea. And so I'm going to keep working on it. I'm not saying it's perfect right now, but an 8 activation list that feels like 10 is really nice.
Yeah, and it really comes down to, I think, playing with it. I mean, are you always going to hold up? No, that's just where it comes down to. I mean, guys at home, we're sounding so excited about this because we've always talked about the potential for these factions, and we're starting to see that.
Yep.
Are they going to take Worlds? No, I'm sorry. They're
I don't think they have.
They're still not.
I will be elated if they do.
Right?
Like,
I would love to see that, but like, you love to see it, but they're not going to. It just they don't have the utility. Like their Swiss Army knife, it's like that Boy Scout when you open, and there's one end is a knife and the other end is like
like a corkscrew.
Yeah, it's like a corkscrew.
And what am I gonna do with a corkscrew as a Boy Scout? I don't drink wine.
Exactly. You're like, I'm not old enough to even buy that. So.
Yeah.
But whereas like the Empire, they've got that big old one that you open and you're like, I've got a lockpick, I've got a corkscrew, I've got a bottle opener, I've got a knife, a serrated edge. For some reason in there, you've got like a guy who pops out and does your taxes for you. You know, like, I
got a fitness counselor in there.
I don't listen to him.
Obviously. Way to rub that in.
But he's there if I want it, yeah.
And just for the emotional support, I got my dog in there. No, but you're exactly right. Which also reminds me, for those of you who care, we did on the podcast we did record, one highlight of the podcast was a bet that Matt and I made.
What was the bet?
It was as follows, okay? Because we brought up Worlds.
Top 8.
Top 8, right? If droids have more... So we're going faction to faction. Matt's faction is the droids. My faction is the clones. If Matt wins with having more representation of droids in the top 8 than clones... then he will win, and then and vice versa. So if Matt wins, he gets to paint my Anakin when it comes out.
I get to paint his Anakin. Guys, I don't think you understand how big of a thing this is for Kyle. Like, It took him like 10 minutes of like flip-flopping to like finally shake my hand on that.
Yeah, because I just freaking know you're going to do something stupid.
Dude, he's just going to be pink with white lines all over him.
But it has to, as long as if it's the Tron team, I won't care. But I just know you're going to do something just slightly like... Oh yeah, that doesn't fit the Tron theme as maybe the colors do, but like their cloth will be all weird or something. I don't know.
I'll make him not. Yeah, I'll make him fun.
And so if I win, then Matt has to finally paint his ATST.
Oh,
because Matt hates the ATST.
I'm just not a fan. Like the ISR on is great. Don't get me wrong, but I'd rather run a saber tank.
Well, yeah, everyone would rather roll red saves. That's like saying, hey, I'd rather have breakfast than not having breakfast.
That's an easy debate.
I guess that's true. A lot of people... Okay, that was a bad comparison. I guess people don't like breakfast as much as I do. I love eggs.
I'm not going to lie, breakfast is probably my favorite meal of the day. But I can't eat what I want for breakfast outside of the weekends because I just don't have time.
I also just love breakfast foods.
Yeah.
Like dinner sometimes, I'll just make eggs.
Like bacon is good.
Hash browns.
Okay, hash browns. My God. My favorite breakfast, Eggs Benedict. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, no, because the sauce on there.
Sauce.
Welcome to 801st Cooking Mama podcast.
Where we worship Gordon Ramsay.
This clone recipe tastes like absolute bantha crap.
These droids are raw. Yeah, but anyways, so that's the bet. Pay attention to Worlds because it's coming up here pretty soon in the next 2 weeks, and we'll report back.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to move on to the next topic here, which is kind of what the whole main topic of the podcast is we got a couple of bad boys announced this week, Matt. We got them announced.
And how?
Yeah. Why don't you tell us, Matt, who got announced this week?
So we actually got something announced this week that I was not excited for, but I'm now ecstatic. Okay, so let's break it down for you. Matt plays Legion. Matt loves Legion. Matt loves to play Empire. He likes the Empire quite a bit. Matt's having a lot of fun with the clones right now. He's just played them for the past 2 weeks. Matt's favorite faction is the droids. Matt could give a rat's about the rebels. He could care less. I could care less about the rebels. But then this little boy and his Iron Giant named K2 comes around.
You just gave me the coolest paint scheme idea.
I know. Stop. I've been thinking about this. He'd be cool as the Iron Giant.
Oh
Basically,
my gosh.
Cassian and K2 come out, and I'm reading their stuff, and it just hits me how great they're going to be. And now, I did that day? There's a picture on the Discord. I went and I bought gin.
Yep.
So Matt's converted. Am I gonna buy all the Rebels? Probably not. If people want to
Just
split,
get your one list.
well,
you know?
I think if people want to split a core set, because I know a lot of people want to split core sets so they can get the Empire. Maybe I'll just go in and I'll buy the droids.
Your boy's
Or
been
the
looking at getting
Rebels.
Empire for like 3 months now.
That's true. But yeah, we got today. Our big topic is Cassian and K2.
Cassian and K2. Okay, let's get the elephant out of the room. Cassian has red saves. Just kidding, K2 has red saves.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at the card. I'm like,
Wait, what?
Psych.
No, K2 has red saves, which like a member of the community in here in Salt Lake makes such a good point that Rebels for a while have struggled with their identity because they were supposed to be the punchy unit, but less good saves, right? And what do? They give punch to the mortars and the short troopers. So now Rebels are like, well, now I just suck. But as we can see with K2 and another little upgrade we're going to talk about here in a minute, getting more red saves kind of evens it out. It's like, okay, you can have your one unit with black attack dice. Okay, but I also get red saves here. You know, I think that's just a really good way to like make Rebels respond. Yeah. And that goes back to the seesaw thing. Like, okay, for a while Empire has an edge. All right, maybe now it's time for the Rebels to kind of gain an edge.
I agree. And what's interesting with it is looking at their cards, their command cards, their unit cards, all those things, the upgrades they're going to take. We're seeing things come together in a way that I think the Rebels, they're going to have some tricks. What I like in the so I always talk about Armada and X-Wing. I think when it comes to the Rebels in those games, they always have a lot of tricks they can pull that give them that identity. And I think that's how it's going to go here.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. So, like, why don't we just jump right into it? Let's go with Cassian first, because I feel like, you know, he's the staple of what pulls this team together, what made you excited in the first place. Let's go down. What makes Cassian so great?
Well, let's break down his card first of all. So he's got Covert Ops. So when you deploy, you can treat his rank as an operative, and if you do, you gain Infiltrate. So basically, you take him as your commander, then you swap into him operative, and you can do that. Danger Sense 3, so for each suppression up to 3, he can roll 3 extra white defense dice while defending. Loadout, you can swap any upgrades, which is great. We'll talk about that if we need to. Marksman, you can spend aim tokens to improve the die results. So you can spend an aim. I believe you have to spend it before also, if the timing is right.
I think so.
So you can't use them for aims. You have to use them before.
Right, like, because you're spending that aim to upgrade. You cannot spend...
for rerolling.
Right.
Yeah. But you can take it from like a blank to a hit or a hit to a crit, which is great because he already surges to hit.
Well, and I'm really glad they specified that in the ROG too, because I thought it was going to be a little weird. Like, if he surges to hit, it's be like, okay, blank to a surge and then surge to a hit. It's like, why not just make it blink to a hit then?
Yeah.
So, like, any other units that may have marksman are going to have that same ability just to go from a blink to a hit, from a hit to a crit.
See, I like that. And then he's got Tactical 1. So after performing a standard move, he gains a name token like Rex. 2 training slots, gear, and his armament so he can take his weapon. White saves, 6 health, 2 courage, surging both ways.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
One thing that I want to go back to real quick is I think it's kind of important to understand, like, what Covert Ops does. Like you said earlier, when you deploy, you may treat your rank as an operative. If you do, you gain Infiltrate. Why would you want to do that?
Oh, it's interesting because I've thought about this a lot, and I kind of want your take on it because it seems counterintuitive as to, like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really change your point value because his point value stays the same at 90. What it does do is it lets you not have to take a commander, but he's kind of already a commander. And the worst part is with Covert Ops, if you do that and you don't have a commander, you have to nominate a trooper or spec ops unit to be your commander. So
because I think they specified that doesn't get because he's still your commander, so it's not like you can have Jyn, Leia, and Cassian.
Yeah.
They specified that he's still a commander unit. He's just deploying as an operative. That's why he has that small token.
Yes. It's weird because, like, it almost makes him kind of like an entourage operative.
Yeah.
I think the reason you do that is because K2 is an operative and you want a better chance of pulling operatives out of your bag. I also think Infiltrate is the reason you do it. Let's be real. You do it because you want Infiltrate, and I think they also wanted a way to not just put Infiltrate on there. But what's your take? Because it's an interesting thing.
Well, one thing is, like, I feel like we're really going to get a sense on Thursday, unfortunately, of how that works out, because we're going to see a full gameplay session of Cassian.
In which the cast will come out on Friday like
So
usually.
so this is probably outdated a little bit.
We're recording on Tuesday.
So yeah, and so that's another thing. We want to talk about these guys, but we're not going to spend like hours and hours talking about these guys, because by the time this cast comes out, like
you'll know.
Yeah. But it's just really exciting to look at their cards and kind of get a sense of what they're doing, because I don't like, in my experience with FFG streams, they won't go over every single thing. So that's kind of what we want to do, just quickly go through everything. I'll tell you what, though, I think the big reason why you'd want to take it as an operative is exactly what you said. Whatever that does for your ranking system, you're really just doing it to infiltrate. I don't know what the repercussions of getting demoted to an operative are.
Well, because it's interesting, because now that they talked about if you promote somebody to a commander, you now have to change their token to a commander token. So
right.
You're not really losing your commander token.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, so like overall, like solid unit. Any drawbacks you see just on his card inherently? Anything you're like, not so good?
Not really. Like, as I look at it, everything looks so good to me. I'm trying to figure out in my mind what the training upgrades I would take are. I think duck and cover is just immediately you must take in a dangerous sense. I've thought about taking offensive push, so you can get tactical 2, but with teamwork with K2, I don't think you really need that per se, because you're just adding up everything. I mean, I understand his pistol not so great, but if you're infiltrating, you can get to 1 to 2 quickly. And let's be real, also, like, if you need to, like, just take his gun.
Yeah.
Just take his
he has the option to. And how many points is it? It's 10. So really, you're just counting on 100 points, even if you don't do anything else. That's kind of what it's like with Rex. It's
and let's be real, that's not bad.
Yeah. But he also comes with his little Iron Giant buddy, K2SO.
Do you want to break it down?
Yeah, let's do it. So K2SO has calculate odds. We've seen that before on a little shiny boy, C3PO. Usually you can't recognize him because of the red arm, but
there it is. I knew I had to come up.
Yeah. But that's when you can choose a friendly trooper unit at range 1 and in line of sight. It gives you an aim, a dodge, and 1 suppression. You know what's really nice about that? That can be you. You know what's really nice about that? K2 is a droid trooper and will not be suppressed. Also, if you really want to, you can also just give that to Cassian for danger sense.
You just blew my mind because he's got teamwork.
Yeah.
Cassian.
Yep. So even if you just do it to yourself, Cassian suffers. Like maybe Cassian is capped. Maybe he has enough suppression. You don't want to give him any more.
But he needs tokens.
So you just do it to yourself. You just calculate odds on yourself. You give yourself a suppression, which doesn't matter because you're a droid and you're incognito, which we'll come back to in a second. And then you get a dodge and aim, which means, hey, your buddy gets a dodge and aim as well. This is what I honestly feel, and we're going to get into this a little bit. Actually, let's just get into it now. Cassian and K2 is the dynamic that Han and Chewie should have had.
Oh.
Like 100%.
By far, like how could you not have teamwork built in with those guys?
Well, they do. Han and Chewie
They do. Okay, cool. I don't play Rebels.
No, but as far as like, K2 is going to take way less hits overall. Chewie still has white saves, and yes, he gets charged if he gets damaged a little bit. He has 8 health.
Oh, but you don't want him charging half the time. You don't want him in melee. You want him back, yeah.
And so, like, K2 and Cassian, like, well, Han and Chewie have, like, they're the buddy dynamic duo. They're going to do it. I feel like Cassian and K2 are just going to be doing it so much better. I like Han and Chewie. I played them a few times now, and I really like what they do. But if I have the option, if I had to, like, choose one or the other, like, this is a cheaper. Also, they're cheaper. That's the thing.
They are cheaper.
They're cheaper. Well, that's a whole different issue.
Well, and here's another thing too: is you've got armor 1, and so like if you are in heavy cover, so let's say you do break incognito.
Yep.
You're in heavy cover. Armor 1 with red saves. That's not bad. That's
that's
dewbacks, and you've got basically the same health as dewbacks, pretty much. So
true. So let's talk about what incognito is. You cannot be attacked by enemy units beyond range 1. Unless you have performed an action or used an objective card action during this game. That's a lot better than what I thought it was initially, by the way.
Yeah.
So all it really means is you can't interact with objectives. Like, you can't claim. You can maybe stand. You could sit to intercept transmissions. But you can't sabotage moisture evaporators. You can go for breakthrough. You can do all that stuff. But
well, it's crazy because like that means all he's doing is just like his whole turn is to be near Cassian.
Yeah.
And then to dodge. Like, let's say, like, dodge and then calculate. Or maybe even, like, just aim and calculate.
Yep.
So then Cassian doesn't have to aim.
Yeah.
Cassian doesn't have to do those things.
Yep.
And because you've got teamwork,
and then also Cassian is tactical, so he's going to move and get another aim.
Well, exactly. So it's like, okay, great. Cassian has 5 aims. Cassian has 2 dodges. Cassian has standbys. And I think standby with Cassian is going to be so big.
Yeah. It's
Because,
like what we talked about earlier with the clones. You're getting more out of it for cheaper.
It's so good. And he's one of those units that, like, it's nice he's got infinite range because you don't have to attack the unit that triggers standby.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. But, like, you may.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say you trigger standby. Okay, I'm going to turn my infinite range sniper and get your snipers.
Yep.
Oh, you triggered my second, like, yeah, or like Cassian goes, let's say he do it this way. He goes first, he shoots and kills a sniper team.
Mm-hmm.
He probably can. Let's be real, he can. Then K2 goes, takes a standby. That means Cassian gets a standby because of teamwork. Does teamwork work on standbys?
No,
I just want to double check.
It specifies teamwork. Oh, it actually doesn't. But I'm pretty sure it's.
You're on the rules?
It's dodge. I'm pretty sure it's just dodge. Aim.
Okay, good.
I don't think they can share standbys that way.
So maybe you'd have to play his card. I just want to make sure because that just hit me that like that might be pretty broken.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way it is. And feel free to let us know in the comments if.
But he does have
wrong.
his card that lets him do that, where he can basically shoot 3 times.
Right. No, in crack shot or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Which we're going to get into in just a minute, but just finish off K2's cards. We talked about the red saves. He's just a crit. His overpower melee attack, super good. That is the same as Chewie.
Well, it's basically Dooku -1 red.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really nice. No keywords associated with it, so no Pierce or whatever, but it's cool. Overall, like a solid unit, 70 points. You can give him a blaster, which is Jin's SE-14 blaster. It's a range 1 to 2.
Oh, it also could go on Jin too, which I know.
Right.
Which was an interesting
So
thing.
it's Jin or K2 only. It has Pierce 1 and Suppressive. So automatically you're giving a suppression even if you can't land any hits. But let's be honest, with five dice, good chance you're going to at least get 1 because you surge. Yeah. But how often are you really attacking? You're only really attacking at the end with K2 is my thinking, just to slow people down to give them suppression.
Like you're probably calculating odds and shooting if you need to.
Right. And so with Jin, it's like Rex in the jetpacks. It's going to reduce their value if it's equipped to Jin. But yeah, we talked about Cassian's blaster with that. And honestly, those things are the sniper, infinite range. We know that's going to be great. We've talked about that before on the podcast. Moving on to his command cards, though. Crackshot. Why don't you break down Crackshot for us, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, like, for time's sake, I'll be real quick, but, like, Cassian Andor gains Gunslinger and 1 aim token. At the end of his activation, he may gain 1 suppression token, and he gains 1 standby token. So that's great because he goes first. He's got danger sense, so he wants to be safe. Mm-hmm. So let's say you are suppressed but not panicked. Mm-hmm. You get your aim token so you don't have to aim. You can just shoot. Or if you need to, just aim again. And you can shoot and aim on both gunslingers or marksman on both gunslingers, which I think is going to be the key.
Well, so tell me this. So rules-wise, when you become suppressed, you lose if you have a standby, you drop the standby, right? With this, you already have a suppression token. Does that count if you get another attack? Because you already have a suppression.
Oh, I see what you mean.
If you got shot again, do you keep your standby token?
No. So it's when you gain a suppression.
Oh, so okay. So if he got shot right away.
Yes, exactly. So that's why, like, if somebody with a mortar was just like, okay, I gotta shoot him now. But I think this is definitely something you play kind of early on, not late game at all. Well, I think getting those early shots off are really important, especially to win the sniper war. Because you can gunslinger. It doesn't say with which gun.
Oh, that's so true. It doesn't say which gun.
So let's be real. How many sniper teams are you taking? You're going to take 2 to 3 because that's all you can take. Yeah. So let's be real. They're going to place their snipers into position. They're going to be like, oh, look, I'm cool with my snipers. Because usually people don't put them in cover. They put them on top of a building or somewhere at range 5 so they don't have to worry about cover. They can just shoot you.
Yeah.
But you pop him in with infiltrate. You pop this card turn 1. And then Cassian goes first. And so you get your aim token. And then what do you do to start? You just aim again. Gunslinger, kill 1 sniper team. Gunslinger, or to kill the other sniper team. Take a standby. And the nice thing is you get a suppression token there. So you still get your standby, but you've got danger sense now. Mm-hmm. It's making you safe because one of the things with Pathfinders, and I played against somebody like this, is that when Pathfinders go down like that, if they have duck and cover, they can start to get their danger sense off. But Jin and Pathfinder's range 1, like turn 1 and 2 is when they tend to die, not turns
True.
5 and 6. Turns 1 and 2 are when they just get aced off the board, and this is something that helps you not get aced off the board.
Yeah, that's very true.
But what's your take?
Well, I know. I think that I had never looked because in the picture he's using his pistol.
Yeah.
You don't think about using that with the sniper just to get somebody long range. The problem is getting the standby to go off. If you're too far, it's that risk and reward. I want to go closer, but I don't want them to quite. I want them to come to me.
Exactly.
You know? So I don't know. I think that's really great. His 2-pip is Cassian Andor and 1 trooper. It's called Last Stand. When Cassian Andor issues an order to a commander, an operative unit, that unit gains Indomitable and gains 1 aim, 1 dodge, and a suppression token. For each wound taken, that unit has up to... one suppression token for each wound taken. Up to 3. I'm kind of actually seeing now like why you might want to deploy as an operative. But actually, never mind. It's still a commander, so I still struggle with that.
Well, it's nice because like with this teamwork, basically you're just gonna issue order to yourself and K2.
Yeah.
And then you're both gonna take like let's say
Right.
aims and dodges, and then you both get 2 aims and 2 dodges.
Yeah.
And you get 2 suppression, and you've both got you've got danger sense, and K2 doesn't give a rat's. So you're like, okay, cool. Now I'm rolling more white dice, and I have all these tokens. And what the nice thing is the Indomitable is, let's say you're already suppressed and you don't have that action economy. Well, now you can perform a free move action to take an extra suppression. You've got tactical, so that triggers another aim token. So now you've got 3 aim tokens. And so
That's just ridiculous.
So then you spend your 1 action to shoot. And what are you doing? You're using those 3 aim tokens, if you've got your sniper, to just make all those 3 crits.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's really nice.
Wild.
That's true. And then, like, we talk about this with their keywords with Teamworks and them both getting those tokens. Let's say on a different turn, maybe not this turn, but you can do it again on another turn with Jin's command card where this unit gains Teamwork. So you give it to Teamwork to Cassian or Teamwork to K2. And so now whatever K2 does or whatever Cassian does, they both, like all 3 of them get something crazy.
Because let's say Jin dodges and aims. Well, then all 3 of them get dodges and aims, and then K2 calculates odds and does something else.
And then they all
get them.
And then, oh, gosh.
Like the action economy, like I don't know why. The only things they're going to be doing is moving and shooting because they're going to be getting so many other tokens for free.
I feel like there's going to be definitely an order where it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to get the maximum efficiency out of it. Like maybe you want to go with Cassian first because he gets tactical. Maybe you want to go with K2 because he's hidden. I don't know. That's going to be something that happens when we play him with him.
Yeah.
With his 3-pip, Matt, why don't you read Cassian's 3-pip for us?
Yeah, Cassian Andor and 2 troopers. So when Cassian issues an order to a commander, operative, or spec ops unit, that unit recovers, gains danger sense 1, which by the way stacks with other danger senses you've got, and may gain 1 suppressive token. Or 1 suppression token.
They don't have to, so if they're at maxed, or if they don't need it, they don't have to.
Yep. Or let's say like you've got 4 suppression on you, but you've only got danger sense 3. Well, that bumps you to 4. You don't need to take a 5th suppression.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I think that one's really good.
Also, you recover. So if you are panicked,
Yep.
let's say everybody's panicked because you've got max and you're using your danger sense. Well, just recover and then take another suppression.
Yep.
Then you're still rolling danger sense, but you're not running off the board.
Yeah. I feel like that one's pretty straightforward and just really all around good. Moving on to K2's card, it's a 3-pip. I don't think he has any more. He just has the 1, right?
We haven't seen anything else.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything else from him, but we have seen he has 1 command card. It's called Sacrifice. It's for Cassian and K2SO, so they're the ones getting orders. And it's K2SO gains Guardian 4 at the end of K2SO's activation. You may choose another friendly commander or operative unit at range 1 and in line of sight of K2SO. If you do, defeat K2SO, and enemy units cannot perform ranged attacks against that chosen unit until the end of this round. You know what that's really good for? Turn 6. Oh, you want to attack Cassian? He has an objective that's going to win us the game? Sorry.
Psych.
You can't.
You can kill K2, but not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You do kill K2.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't.
Yeah.
You have to kill K2, but like you're not stopping.
I
him
won
with
the game.
boss.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. The versatility there, and this is another case of just like Han and Chewie could have had this. Like Guardian on Chewie is so pointless with white saves.
And with Guardian, you don't have to stop at your damage threshold, right? So like if K2 has 1 health left, you can still Guardian 4.
Yep. And I like that because it's like, okay, maybe I don't want to prevent an enemy shot. Maybe I just want to take all the Guardian, you know? So.
Well, it's interesting too that I like it. It's the end of his activation, right?
Oh, right. So like maybe you just save him for very last.
Well, he can still Guardian before that, but like even if you get through the whole Guardian, he's not dead yet. Then before he dies, just calculate odds and take a dodge token, and suddenly Cassian at turn 6 has double dodges.
Yeah, that's true.
And you just Guardian for him.
Like you issue orders to Cassian K2, and what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that like you just let everyone else go, and then you flip K2's token over. It's like, okay, well, it's turn 6. I guess I'll activate K2. He's the last person to go. So, yeah, he dies. But also, like, who cares? I hate to say it because I love K2. But
it's also like a May thing, yeah. Well, it's interesting that it's like ranged attacks because I feel like the way to counter this is you're going to have people be like, crap, Sacrifice is going to go off. I need to move into melee with Cassian.
Like, Tons are going to be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, Tons will be like, okay, whatever. But, like, it's interesting that you're going to get charged. Like, Cassian or whoever you pick is going to get charged. But, like, let's say you can't quite charge him. Like, it does prevent things like Palpatine. He can't, and now you will die.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Like, oh, sorry, Palp. Like, you have to come to me, and I have a standby, by the way.
Yeah, Palp's not getting a charge. Yeah.
So that's kind of we have Jin pulled up here too for reference, but I mean, you guys know Jin, right? She's our old girl. Do we want to talk about how this will affect the Rebels overall, though? Like, these 3 with Jin included. Do we think we'll see a resurgence of our little Path boys?
I think so. I sent you a list that I've been working on. It's 11 activations, triple Pathfinders, because I think if you're infiltrating that many people to the center of the board, I don't think you need snipers because you're close enough that you can just kill their snipers. You know what I mean?
No, I do. That's the thing.
Just
it's
pick
like
blue player, and then once you infiltrate into the middle, you've kind of created this bubble of range 3. If I put somebody in the middle, I'm good. You can infiltrate and you can cover your bases. You can do what you need to do.
Yeah, and I feel like Rebels thrive off of those simpler objectives like recover supplies. And I feel like that's what Jin was originally designed for, to just excel at that.
Yeah.
And now that we're getting more things, okay, I infiltrate, also bombing run.
Right?
Got it.
Got it. And also, like, who needs range 4 when all of a sudden the entire battle's happening at range 3 all of a sudden?
Yep. It's crazy. Like, the whole, like, in-your-face dynamic with the Rebels, I feel like, is really coming back. Because for a while there, I felt like Tons were the only ones to truly have it. At least as long as we've been playing, right? So I feel like Tons are, for the longest time, the only ones that are really like, all right, I'm going to get in your face, I'm going to just shoot the crap out of you, or I'm going to ram the crap out of you.
Yeah.
But now with Pathfinders and K2 and Cassian, it's like, no, I'm like in your face, dude. Like, what are you going to do, you know?
Like,
so,
GG.
Yeah. Well, and it's just going to be nice. It's like, because we talk about snipers, we talk about mortars. There's like with gun lines again, and we say this thematically, right? Because like a lot of times you'll go up against another set of rebels or clones or droids, but like thematically, like they're going up against Empire, right? So like you're like, okay, get rid of those droids or get rid of those snipers. But hey, let's say you're going up against some droid commandos or maybe you're going up against some ARC troopers. It's like,
how do I handle that?
Yeah,
like,
I'm like right here, dude.
Right.
It's great. They definitely built it for a certain thing, but it's versatile enough where I could see this really being good against all factions.
It's interesting because I think we're going to get to the point with this game where you have list identities. Do you know what I mean? Like, Shoreline is kind of a list identity. Not exactly, because it's more like you can take a Shoreline with, like, any commander in any way. You can work with Palp, you can work with Veers, you can work with Vader. But I feel like you'll be like, oh, what list are you running today? And they'll be like, oh, I'm running Rogue One. And you immediately know Cassian Path. Like, that will be an archetype.
Yeah.
And I think with, like, the Mandalorians coming out, we'll get to this later, you'll have, like, okay, you're running Rebels. What's your Rebel list? Oh, you're running Mandos. Okay. That's an archetype. And I really like that we're getting to that point where, like, it's kind of like with X-Wing, how it got to the point where, like, triple jump masters. I like it. It excites me you can do that because I think I like that. There is a downside to getting stuck into a rut, but I think it's cool to do thematic things like that and have them work really well.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you because the simple truth is that this game, the reason at least we got into it is because it's Star Wars. We want like the cool thematic battles.
It's freaking dope.
Yeah, and so like I think what's great is that they're leaning into that more and more every day. And in our notes, I have like question mark, like, is Rogue One the new meta? Like, I don't know what the answer to that is, but I do see a lot more of like Rogue One list for Rebels, and then Rogue One list because Troll lines are kind of gun lines are kind of already.
It's just Empire Rogue One.
Yeah.
It really is.
So hey, like the thematic battles are there, and what that really makes me excited for? That guy that comes into the store while you're doing your Legion Nights, like, oh, what game? Oh, wait, I already know. This is Star Wars. Like,
you guys are on Scarif?
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I just love about Legion. And I'm trying not to get off on a too big of a tangent. I'm sorry, but I love this game for that. When you walk when you walk into a game store and you see someone playing Warhammer or War Machine or any other tabletop game, it's pretty samey, and I don't want to say that to like
because they're really not.
They're not.
But there's something.
But to the outside looking in, you're like Warhammer, War Machine. What's the difference? A lot is different. But the thing is like immediately when people see Darth Vader or an ATST on the table, they're like, Star Wars has a miniatures game.
Like there's something about the IP. There's the magic.
Right.
Yeah.
And to us gamers that have been around the block for a while, like of course they have a miniatures game. They had one before. But this is just the new one, right? The thing is though, it's like that alone aids this game's survivability so well to just be like, hey, we have cool things from that movie you love.
Oh, I love, dude, you hit it right on the head. I love being at the store playing any store. We played a couple stores and like having people come in and be like, oh no way, that's a cool game. Like it makes you feel happy and it makes you excited to share it with something because there's nothing. It's like a sale. I've done sales for a long time, and one of those things about being a salesman is they want you to get hyped about the product.
Oh yeah,
because you want to share something you love, and it makes it easy to share something you love.
Yep. Well, it's so true. Like, and a big reason will push me to paint my clones the way I have, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. I painted my clones Tron. Okay, for those of you listening, I painted my clones Tron theme.
You shared such a heated article today about Tron, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
We're not gonna get into it.
You had to remind me. Gosh,
don't do that. Okay, come back to us, Kyle.
The Tron show got canceled.
Kyle, be with me. Be with me, Kyle.
I'm one with the podcast. Gosh dang it, I forgot. I had such good news today. Halo got a new book announcement. Gosh dang it. Anyways, back on track. What I'm saying is that I painted my clones Tron themed because that's 2 in 1. It's like, oh, Star Wars? Oh, what'd you do? You painted your clones Tron themed? Oh, I could do that. I don't have to worry about painting. I could do that, because like painting is such a daunting task getting into this game.
It is.
And so you can show them something like that. Like I love painting my guys. My rebels are in like an Imperial Defector theme, just a couple colors, red and black. Makes it really simple. I put a lot of care and detail into it, but just a couple colors. And that way when people come into the game and they're looking at it and they're like, oh, yeah, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. I can do that,
I love seeing that too. And people are like, I guess I'll try. And some people just knock it out of the park the first time. Some people struggle. But they always have a good time.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like this is the game. It's always been about a good time. And that's what I love about it. But, that's it for our main topic. Overall, I already know your answer. You're already making lists. So I guess should we walk downstairs and like buy a new core set? Like, is that a thing?
Cool. I'm so dude. I bought Jin. I'm so close to buying Pathfinders because I want to run them so much. But just to finish off, I'm so excited for it. I'm excited for some Rebel love, even though I don't play Rebels, and I'm excited to just see the new mechanics work together.
Well, you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited for Rebels to be good again. Make Rebels good again.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding. They've always been good, but they're going to be They're going to be better.
They'll be good.
So main topic done. It's time for our next segment. Double Vision. Matt! What is our double vision this week?
So, our double vision kind of came to us from one of the guys on Discord. We've talked about him, Casey. He had a question, and his question was, like, basically, what do you think the kits will be like for Clan Ren and Inferno Squad? Because there was kind of a little bit of, I don't know how to put it, like a little bit of a leak. It does look a little photoshopped, but it might just be new paint jobs on the box. But we already know for a fact those units are coming. It's been kind of pseudo-confirmed.
Yeah.
So, I guess, Kyle, what do you think would be the way that Clan Ren and Inferno Squad are built? How would you get them out?
Here's the thing. I want to address it first. It's not Photoshop because I've seen the official artwork on my distributor's portal. Like,
it's coming.
I have seen it. Like,
and
I have the item code.
Okay, it's real. Okay,
like,
and
I
dig
have
the
it.
new paint job because
Yeah.
they have the little different strip on the bottom. It's not just red. It's, I wonder because that's red and it's the Republic Brown. So maybe it's a dual.
That makes me think. I don't know.
I know.
You know what else I can't talk about it.
Why?
But the other thing that I know.
Oh.
I can't talk about it yet. But
Truth be told, it's on the Discord.
Yeah, truth be told. If
It's
you're
on
on
the
the Discord, just go on the Discord. You know what I'm talking about if you're on there. But anyways, the possibility... screw it. I don't care. Scum and villainy.
Scum and villainy,
I
yeah.
think that's what's going to happen.
So
I think we're going to get a Scum and Villainy faction sooner rather than later, and which I was thinking was going to be a couple years from now, but it looks like we're going to get it soon.
So what happened is,
Or at least certain units that are like
he has
neutral.
Basically, he has information that shows that Star Wars Legion may be doing stuff from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's now. It could be just that's kind of the way that it's going to be tied together a
Yeah.
little bit, or you might be getting characters from it.
Maybe it's just straight up just Mando. Like he's a neutral unit. He's a bounty hunter. We don't know. Like that's literally the only information we have. And it's not really. I don't know why I made a big deal out of it. It's really not that big of a deal. It's out there. Like every
I
game.
guarantee people have independently come up with that idea.
Right. Well, and also like it was at Gamma. So every store owner or game producer that was there knows this.
Yeah.
So like. It's
Whatever.
really not that big of a deal. I'm sorry I kind of made a big stick out of it, but I just feel bad like if I were to say things that like I'm not supposed to say. I'm always on the fence about that kind of stuff because I don't want to ever get in trouble on that stuff.
Right.
I mean well is what I'm saying.
But let's be real. Like,
So what I'm saying though is that Clan Ren, because they have that brown, it could be like
That's true.
Maybe it could be like a Scum and Villainy duo. Like they're independent,
do you think they'll all come
guns
with?
for hire.
See, that'd be cool. Oh, see, I would love that. Like maybe like a new rank, like a mercenary rank, would be cool.
They're yeah, that could be really interesting. I've talked about before the possibility of these new like plug and play units because I'm pretty sure Iden is going to plug into Inferno Squad.
Kind of like how Echo and Heavy will,
Right.
or Echo and Fives will.
Yeah. So what I think is going to happen is that if we get ever to the point where it's like, okay, well, I want to attach all of the guys, we're going to have like trooper heavy units. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like a 250 point trooper unit, but
like
it's
you
heavy
plug
rank.
them in as the leader for that unit.
Yeah, so like it's far off, but who knows? Maybe it's possible. Either way, like you're not gonna be able to run like it's gonna be unique. You're not gonna be able to run 2 Clan Rens. You're not gonna be able to run like I think that's just kind of like guaranteed. Like you can't run 2 Inferno Squads. There doesn't exist.
Maybe this is the beginning of like maybe along the same lines, getting your double card people where you'll get your Iden and you'll have a commander operative version. But in the Inferno Squad box comes a Iden card.
Yeah. No, that's true.
As like so
And
you,
so
so
she
you
comes
take
as,
her
like-
mini. Yeah, so you take her mini from the commander box and you
so
just
rather
plug
than
it in.
like actually
She's
in
an upgrade
Armada,
card,
she's like
yeah.
a crew member instead of a pilot.
Exactly.
You know, so that would be really interesting. And
but
I think that FFG's been known to do that with other games, like we just said. So I think that's totally possible.
Why not? As far as like their unit cards, I think red dice on both for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like for sure. Do you think impervious or I could see impervious on the Mandos. Maybe not immune to pierce because that might be a little bit much, but impervious for sure.
So actually, I kind of want to retract something. Looking
really?
at it, Inferno Squad doesn't really have armor. They're pilots.
It's true, but I think with the armor saves, like, dude, if regular stormtroopers have armor, I think they get armor. They're spec ops. I don't think they'll get white saves. I think they'll get.
That's true.
I think
Kenobi really doesn't have any armor.
Yeah.
He has shoulder pads.
Right.
But
Well, it's like
you're right.
Rebels. Rebels don't wear any armor. They get white saves. I think it's kind of that idea.
But okay, yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, I think maybe we'll see some keyword swapping.
Oh.
You know, like, because what I was gonna say is, I think maybe instead of red saves, maybe Inferno Squad has danger sense.
Oh, so they'll flip the script.
Just a little
so
bit.
They'll get a rebel thing.
Yeah.
And Empire.
Also thematic if you've played the game.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I wonder if we'll get just a bunch of named people like that. That Inferno Squad members can get plugged into Stormtrooper units.
Dude, that would be just heavenly to be able to be like, because clones are doing that, right? Where they're getting heavy upgrades that can go into core units. I would love, like, Inferno, like maybe it's just like they don't have a name, right? Like for maybe it's just Inferno Squad member. It could be any of them.
Yeah, like
But
you're
it's just-
taking Del Mico, you're taking
Yeah, yeah.
Agent Hask. Yeah.
Or what I'm saying though is on the card it just says Inferno Squad member. It's just a generic heavy upgrade for Inferno Squad.
Oh,
So you could choose whichever mini you want out
Yeah,
of those.
yeah.
You could be Del, whatever. It could be any of them. But it's just the same card no matter what mini you take. Does that make sense?
It does, and I will say this. I'm sorry, FFG. I love that you're doing head sculpts. I'm putting the helmet on every single person.
You
I
bet
get.
you a bottom
sorry.
dollar. Dude, that helmet is too good. And I get
It's
it.
too good. It's so cool.
I'm glad, like you said, I love FFG's commitment to making the
creativity, yeah.
Because Aiden, I think I'll do with the mask off.
Same.
Because she's just...
It's Aiden.
Yeah, it's Aiden. She's recognizable that way, like way more than anybody else in Inferno Squad. She's on the front of the package. She's in the front. She's the face of the video game. I don't know. I just think that I would rather have her, but who knows?
Yeah. Do you think they'll surge both ways? I could see Mando surging both ways. I could see them both surging both ways. Red saves. Surge
I
both
think
ways.
if they don't, they're doing a disservice to their dynamic. I think because if Sabine surges both ways and Clan Ren can't, and vice versa, and also
and Aiden does, but
like
yeah,
I think that's just a disservice to their shtick.
Well, and so I wonder if they'll be. I wonder if Inferno Squad comes with loadout also, kind of like Aiden, like that's because that's a big part of the game too. And so I wonder if it's like a unit that also gets that. I know for the Mandos, I just don't know. I bet they come with like whip cords and thing. I bet the Mandos will be the same thing. Do you think something like that'll happen?
I still think and that's hard to say. I think with that sort of thing, it'll come down to like, do you choose to take Sabine in? I think that'll be her thing.
Oh, like they'll keep it specific to her.
Like if you equip
Yeah.
Sabine, you get this upgrade slot. You know, kind of like if you do a comms technician or something like that, you gain comms. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That could be just me though. It's hard to say. We'll know literally probably tomorrow or Thursday.
Probably.
If you're listening again, this is one of those things like you're probably listening to be like, they were wrong about everything. Clan Ren doesn't even have red saves. They have negative armor. If they get looked at, they get shot at twice. It's anti-standby.
No.
Worst unit in the game. Entourage, nothing. Can't receive orders.
200 points.
200 points.
A quarter of your list.
Oh man,
psych.
we were just talking about making a tournament where it's a bad list. That would be a great unit for that.
Yeah, that's something. Oh, we'll have to talk about that because I think it'd be so fun to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
It was an idea. That's an idea that comes from Will in the Discord.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk about that some other time.
Shout outs to Will with all the hot ideas.
Dude, our Discord, I'm not gonna lie, like this past week it's been flying with ideas and discussion that like I'm really loving.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Well, and like a huge thank you to all of you who are joining too the Discord. We've had you guys join in from all over the country, some out of country. So it's just like, holy crap, where do you guys come from?
Twin Cities, we got Texas, we got back east, we got
Yeah.
all over. It's the 801st is a good legion of brothers. and sisters.
And we're so glad. Like, you don't have to be from the 801st to be a part of the 801st, you know?
Yeah, like we started it here and we just call it because where we live, but it's not meant to be for just here.
Right.
It's meant to be for anybody who's a fan of Legion.
Heck yeah. It's just our platoon, you know? It's our thing.
Our Legion.
So yeah, I see what you did there. You're so funny. Really good pun. I hate myself. Moving on to our last item is questions from the community. We like we said, Double Vision this week was kind of brought to you by a question from the community. But another question we had was from Mr. Pleb on Discord. Why don't you go ahead and read that for us, Matt?
What is the most important thing for a new player to keep in mind starting out? Do you want to do this maybe one-on-one, like your favorite thing and my favorite thing?
Yeah, and then I think it'd be also
Important
effective to do the biggest thing to avoid, and then like thing to do and then thing to avoid.
I agree. I agree.
So I'll do thing to do. Start with what you like. Faction-wise, nothing is more important to keep you in this game and enjoy this game than playing characters you like. Don't worry about meta. I mean, if you're that kind of person, sure. If you like the meta,
Yeah.
But if you're just getting into it, I don't think meta is important.
Yeah, I agree 100% because like local meta is can be different than everything. I think for me it's play as much as you can, and by that I mean just build a list, play it a lot. Also play as many people as you can.
Yeah, play diverse amounts of people.
Exactly, because there's something about the rules that like some people will play lists that will interact with the rules differently than you will. Just play as much as you possibly can. And don't scrap your list. Like if you lose, don't scrap your list. Keep playing that same list.
You're gonna lose a lot when you first start.
You are. You're gonna probably win some too.
Yeah,
you never know.
It doesn't mean your list is bad, or in the inverse, it doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah. It's like the droids. I hated them, and now that I've played them so much, I love them. But that's because I understand them.
Yeah.
Play
you
enough.
bonded with that metal. You know.
We're like cyborgs now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep spiritual connection.
That's kind of a Genosian thing, don't you think?
It's like a Borg from Star Trek thing.
Wrong show.
Yeah, wrong podcast.
Where's Picard when you need him?
I've heard such mixed things about that.
The show? I've only heard good things about Picard.
I don't know. Well, that's another side.
Yeah. Next podcast, 801st podcast for Picard. 801st podcast. Podcard. Got it. I got there.
801st podcast. So I guess for you, what's something to avoid as a new player? Like most important thing to avoid.
Oh, I kind of said avoid the meta, but that's kind of like half. So I'll give you like a real one. Avoid. I gave you two halves already to things I wanted to say.
Well, two halves make a whole.
Yeah. So like two halves, like avoid the meta because that goes along with play things you like. But also a big thing is like avoid not. Okay, follow me here. Bear with me.
I see what you're saying.
Avoid not doing turn 7. So whenever you're done with the game, avoid just going home. Stay for like 10, 15 minutes after you break it down. Communicate with your opponent. That does a few great things. That builds the community, builds you friendships. After this game on Monday I played, I talked with the dude for like 30 minutes just about Star Wars.
Oh, so I guess what you're saying is like avoid like the anxiety of being the new guy.
Also, like if you feel like you got outplayed or maybe you didn't understand a rule right, that also helps you just kind of liven your spirits, you know?
Yeah.
Because you hate to see when like someone is like getting really hard on themselves, right? Maybe they didn't play their best game, you know? Avoid just clamming up, you know? Feel free to express your thoughts. Like, man, I really feel like I did this wrong, or maybe what did you ask your opponent what they thought, you know? Avoid just keeping yourself let loose a little bit. It's a game.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. And even if you lost, like, just try and experiment. Like, okay, opponent, where did I go wrong, you know?
Right. And that's actually mine. You hit like you kind of stole it of mine.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
We're the same person, so.
Kind of. Yeah. Mine was going to be avoid taking yourself too seriously with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to bring this up because over the past 2 weeks, Kyle and I hit a point where like we felt like we were taking the game. It was a big part of why we didn't feel so great about the podcast last week. We felt like it was way too serious. We weren't ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we turned around and we both ended up losing some games that week. And it was interesting because like we've been on these winning streaks and losing the game, I'll tell you straight up, it made the game more fun.
Right?
It made me enjoy the game so much. This past week, I have never felt so excited about the game because I lost. Because I had my butt handed to me. It changed my perspective.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, it made me respect everybody in the community. I feel like I already had a lot of respect for people in the community, but it made me feel connected to them. It made me feel connected to the game. It made me feel excited. It made me feel like there's a challenge. Like, as a new player, you're going to lose a lot. Don't get pessimistic about that. Enjoy the ride. And if you are a new player and you feel like you're on a hot streak, dude, lower yourself a little bit. Be humble. Like, enjoy. Avoid falling into that trap of getting overly competitive and overly into the game. Because let's be real, you're not going to have fun. Just avoid falling into that trap.
One of our first games playing Legion, we were playing next to a couple of guys that were playing another war game.
Another minis game.
And they got super heated, and we were just laughing at them like, oh, why are they taking this game so seriously? I looked at myself in the mirror this week after I got a little heated after a game. Some personal issues came up. Long story short, I looked at myself in the mirror afterwards. I'm like, you are those guys. Like, you were those guys you were laughing at. Chill the freak out, dude. Like, do you even like this game anymore? Like,
why are you doing this?
Yeah, like I had got way too, like, I can't say prideful because the real reason I was feeling mad at myself was out of insecurity, not pride. I was like, man, I should know this. Like, pretty much like the guy that I played with that week, like, he knew every single rule, and I just was like, oh, man, why do I not know that? Like, why am I getting so tripped up by this? Why do I suck? I don't know.
Kyle, I ask myself that question every day, not even about Legion.
But Matt is exactly right. Like, that moment of just like, hey, you suck. It made me like the game again.
Yeah.
Like, for a solid week there, I was like, I don't want to play. I really don't. I even was talking to Matt. I was like, I just want to take a break. I'm not enjoying this right now.
Well, and you get anxious about it. You get so anxious when you show up to play. You're like, man, like, how is this going to go? Like the thing is, Legion was originally made. Granted, a lot of us take it pretty seriously, but like, it was originally made to be a game.
Yeah.
And even like, let's be real, sports. I think Michael Jordan. I can't remember if it's Michael Jordan.
Michael Jackson, probably.
Yeah, very close. But,
Michael B. Jordan, the actor.
Probably. Well, I can't remember. Some athlete. I do a lot of like reading sales books and stuff, but they said that. I think it was Michael Jordan said that, like, every time you walk on the court, you still get butterflies.
Oh yeah.
And they asked when he'd stop, and he's like, when I stop feeling the butterflies. Like, if you don't feel jittery and excited about the game, maybe take a step back. Don't quit the game. I think, because if you do still love it, still do that.
Well, it's like the great ninja said: if you don't get mad after you lose, you lost twice.
Yeah.
Don't take that serious.
Wrong. But yeah, but avoid falling in that trap. Like, as a new player, you're gonna lose a lot. And you're going to get down on yourself. Don't do that. And if you do start winning a lot, don't fall into that trap and become this proud guy because you're going to start wanting to not lose just for the sake of your pride.
Right. Like,
and when you do lose, you're going to feel bad. But,
you're totally right.
But I have to be honest with you. Just like, losing the game made me be like, man, it humbles you, and you feel no pressure, and you feel happy to move forward.
Yeah.
Don't fall into that trap. That's something that, like, we just said it. We've both experienced different versions of that. I'm sure people in the community have experienced that with other games. Have fun, first and foremost. Build your jank lists. I got my butt almost... So I barely pulled out the win, but I got my butt basically handed to me by a jank list of triple speeder bikes. Dude, I didn't expect that. It was something I had to handle. It was really good.
Nice.
Did I win? Barely. But did I have a lot of fun playing it? Absolutely. And it was so cool to see that.
Yeah, like... And that's why, like, I'm pretty sure moving forward... I'll refuse. I don't know about refuse is the right word, but I will lean away from like the tried and true in a way. Like, I want to make other stuff work. Like the Kenobi tank. Like, that's something that I feel like nobody is really doing. Everyone's like, oh, I got to run Rex so I can get more activations.
Points-wise, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, nah, balls to the wall. Here we go.
Yeah.
So if I lose, it's like, all right, I kind of expected that, you know?
I'm having fun.
But if you win, it's like, yo, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But not in like a, yeah, I'm so good kind of way. It's like, I can't believe I pulled that off.
Like, you just did something cool.
Yeah, and it's the excitement of the early game. You know, I felt like we were new players again this week when we played again. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, I can't tell you how. It's really just because of the community that we've cultivated here that just made this. And I'm sorry to get sappy on you guys, but it's just like the community that we've cultivated here has just really pulled us up a little bit. It's not just one way. It's definitely both ways where I feel like you guys bolster us up and give us reason to, you know, keep showing up for podcasts, even if it is, 1 a.m. in the morning right now while we're recording and I want to go to bed. But you guys make it worth it. Like every single message on Discord, every single, you know, list that you share, every single spoiler we talk about. You guys are just so freaking sick. You're like, freaking rad.
Like, I feel like I've got an actual group of friends on the Discord.
Yeah.
And it feels awesome.
Yeah. I agree. Should we end this thing, you think?
I think so.
I think that was enough emotional stress. I'm kind of like...
I'm cheering.
Yeah.
I want to go home and cry. Well, but like, no, for real though. Like, for real, guys, it's like
it's been real.
It's been real.
I don't know if there's a real way to conclude that statement. You know, like we just poured our heart out to you. You know, I hope
guess
you guys
we can go drop this mic and walk away. And...
Yeah. But yeah, guys, it was fun. We hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. If you did, just remember to like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah, and just let us know what you think about what we talked about today. Do you like the idea of Cassian and K2? Do you think they're going to be bringing a new resurgence for Pathfinders? Do you think the Rogue One meta is quickly upon us? What do you think about new merch, tokens, all that stuff? What do you think about it? Let us know in the comment section down below. Matt, any concluding thoughts from you?
Don't forget to spread that green with your teamwork.
Nice. I like that. And yeah, Matt, thanks for joining us again. And everyone at home, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.